The biggest reason that most people are not where they want to be in life isn't because of a lack of money or connections. It's because of their mindset. Now, this is one of those videos that I hope it's one that you look back on in 2 years being like, after I watched this, this was the changing point. This was the pivoting point that changed my entire outlook on life and allowed me to live a life that I want to live. I genuinely believe that. I'm super excited to make this video in general because I think it's so important and so much people overlook this simple concept. It's not going to be a motivational talk. Rather, it's some real shit that is actually going to help you have a better life, and it's going to allow you to, in a more easier way, chase the life that you want to live. So yeah, let's get into it. The issue is I've seen it over and over. The ones who quit, the ones who never get past being average, they all have these same mental blocks that are holding them back. But here's the truth. Once you actually learn this stuff and lock in, it's almost impossible to not succeed or get closer to living the life that you want to live. On a long enough timeline, it's basically guaranteed. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking it all down. And if you really live by all these things I explained, I really believe your entire life could change in less than 12 months if you start today. So real quick, I want to go into the motivation that made me want to actually make this video in the first place. It started on my Snapchat. So if you guys don't know who I am, first off, my name is Alex Eubank. I've been doing social media for the last 5 years. I've made a lot of money from it, a lot of success from it. I quit college when I was 20 years old. I dropped out of college when I was in my third year. And then since then, I've grown 3 7-figure businesses now at this point. Retired my dad, did all that good stuff, bought him his dream car, bought my dream car, living a life that I'm extremely blessed to live. And as I've done this, as I've talked about this and posted about it, on my Snapchat stories, it's funny, I'm very active on all platforms. People were swiping up saying, when I was going into a rant about success and just life in general at a young age, people were saying, you just got lucky. And it got me thinking about this concept of, this is such a self-destructive way of thought, right? When you see someone in the gym who's more jacked than you, a lot of people, at least those who are living in this inferior self-sabotage way, they see someone who's more jacked, they immediately go to being, oh, he's just on steroids. Or if you see someone who's driving a supercar, you're like, oh, he just got lucky. He's probably did some crypto scam, meme coin, whatever it might be, and that's the only reason why he has that. It's almost like your brain, for these people, their subconscious mind is trying to make them feel more secure. It's from envy and jealousy. So rather than feel like they're on the same level of this person, they try to belittle them to completely exclude them so that they don't have to compare themselves, so that they don't feel inferior to this person. So their subconscious mind in a way tries to completely write it off by just blaming it on something as to why they themselves are in this place. Because, oh, I didn't get lucky, that's why I'm not where he's at. I don't take steroids, that's why I'm not where he's at. And this type of thought is so self-sabotaging. Rather, think about it this way. Let's say if I saw the person who's more jacked than me in the gym, rather than thinking, oh, he's just on steroids, I'm going to write him off mentally so I don't have to compare my physique to his and my inferior physique to his, I'm going to go up to him and I'm going to say, hey, bro, what's your routine? Do you have any diet, like lifting advice for me that I could learn? Or the guy who has a supercar, rather than being like, oh, that guy's probably a dick, he probably just got money from a bunch of whatever, or it's daddy's money, whatever it might be. Maybe I'm going to go up to him and say, hey, man, do you have any advice for someone young like me to where I can maybe get a car like this one day? And you'd find a lot of these people are willing to actually give advice and speak life into you. And the goal from this is like where you can learn from people's own experiences and their failures to get to maybe where they're at even quicker than they did, right? So that type of mindset is so much more productive rather than writing somebody off by saying they just got lucky or saying it's daddy's money, whatever. That's just such a self-destructive way of thought. And I understand that you're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to make yourself feel better by your own inferior state of living, but it's going to prevent you from reaching the life that you want to live. So that's my inspiration for this video. Let's get into it, starting off with the whole concept of this mindset shift. Now, one of my favorite books that kind of speaks on some of these topics that actually really helped change my life is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, as well as Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I believe these books were written in like the 1940s. They apply so much to the world today. One of my favorite books that I consistently go back to. 2 talking points that I have for the book Think and Grow Rich is this concept of auto-suggestion and like your subconscious mind and infinite intelligence. Now, what auto-suggestion is, I have some notes here. Hill teaches that your subconscious mind is always taking in what you feed it, right? So when you repeat your daily goals and you visualize it as if it was already going to happen, like it was guaranteed to happen, and building an unshakable faith in your ability to achieve it, it wires your mind to look for opportunities and to take action on them automatically. It's like the concept where I would explain, like recently I was looking to buy a car and I really wanted an RS5. So I started looking like daily for RS5s. I would look on Manheim, I would look on like different dealerships. And since then, I have seen so many RS5s out on the road where I feel like I never saw them before. It's not that there's more RS5s out on the road. It's the fact that my subconscious mind is being wired almost to keep looking for them. So I'm noticing it. When you're looking for the good in life, or when you're looking for opportunity in life and you teach your brain to recognize that and to realize that and to live it, it might start as a conscious decision where you have to kind of do it out of discipline first, but over time it becomes subconscious to where your brain automatically looks for things that's going to get you closer to the goals and the desires that you want to live for yourself. So the first step is literally rewiring your brain to think this way. The second thing I want to mention going off of this whole concept is infinite intelligence. Now, The quote that I have is that infinite intelligence may be defined as that which gives order to the universe. It is a source to which every human may turn in every difficulty and in every moment of need and find there the answer to his prayers. Now, I'm not saying this in like a religious sense. It's not just a thinking harder concept. It's connecting to like a higher plane of thought. When you put yourself in this mindset where you're looking for opportunity, you're looking for growth, you're being positive, you believe the life that you want to live is guaranteed and is going to happen, you just find yourself, you come up with ideas that you speak life into rather than belittle and just see it as a dream that's never going to happen. When you're in the shower and you start coming up with some crazy video idea or a crazy business idea, you start really thinking about how you can plan this out in actionable steps once you start accessing this concept of infinite intelligence. Rather, if you were more so one of those people who say, oh, it's just steroids, you have this cool thought come up in your head and you're just like, oh no, that's too hard. That can't happen for someone like me. That's complete bullshit. It's so self-destructive. So the first step is literally changing your thought process, changing your subconscious mind to just think more positive, to have this like auto-suggestion concept where your subconscious mind is wired and trained to look for the good in things, to look for opportunity that's going to get you closer to the goals and desires that you have for yourself. The tip that I have for you to learn how to do this is literally writing out your goals that you want in your life day in and day out, every morning, every night, and reciting it out loud as if it already was going to happen. In the beginning, it's going to sound corny as hell. It worked for me. Not even kidding you. I did this. I had a whole thing that I wrote in a notebook. It would be like, imagine myself in a GT500 making 40 grand a month. And this is back when I made maybe like my first 5K. And I'm not even kidding you. In less than a year, I got to well over that. And I had the GT500. My dad got a GT500. I'm not saying this is like guaranteed. Time is a limiting factor for different people. It might take you 1 year, it might take you 10 years, but the end goal is always going to be the same. So first step that I have for you guys on top of this whole rant that I'm going on is get clear on your target. Find exactly what is the life you want to live. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What exactly is the path going to be? You have to have a somewhat of a target that you're aiming towards, that you constantly remind your subconscious mind, this is the life that I'm going to live. This is what I want. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. And then the second thing is to literally rewire your mind to believe that it's inevitable. In the beginning, because of your self-doubt and your whole thought process of this negative self-sabotage way of thinking, in the beginning, it's going to take some discipline training the subconscious part of your mind to believe that this shit actually can happen for you. Because I'm not even kidding you. When I tell people that like anyone can do social media and I see people say, no, you just got lucky, you got in at a good time, I don't know if it's going to happen for me. If you already think it cannot happen for you, then it's not going to happen for you. Half the battle is believing that it can happen for you. If you don't think it can happen for you, then you shouldn't do it in the first place because you're already losing. You're not going to be able to think the things that you have to think about in order to have it kind of like manifest. Third thing is to surround yourself with people who see the vision and support it. If you have friends and dickheads or relationships who are going to belittle your things that you want and desires you want in your life, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to get to those. Surround yourself with people that you want to be like or that are doing better than you, that can motivate you and inspire you. The next thing that I want you guys to do is a dopamine detox. Listen to this. Please take notes and do this. A dopamine detox isn't about removing all dopamine from your brain. No. It's about stepping away from these high gratification reward systems that we have, whether it's scrolling on TikTok, porn, junk food, all these different things, and resetting your brain in its reward system so that you can find more fulfillment in doing the things that's going to allow you to build the habits to live the life that you want to live. So first step for this is to step away from high dopamine triggers. You can do this for like 24, 48 hours a week, whatever it might be, whatever you feel like you can do, and really kind of hold yourself accountable for this. First step, set the period. Second step is going to be cutting out all activities that flood your brain with this high dopamine really, really quick. That's going to be cutting out social media scrolling, cutting out binge watching TV shows, cutting out porn, cutting out junk food, constant texting back and forth, blah, blah, blah. The next thing is to replace with more lower dopamine, higher value activities. These are going to be things that build more long-term satisfaction, aren't as fun in the short term, but as you fix your brain and rewire it, you'll find a lot of fulfillment in these things. This could be journaling. This could be reading. This could be meditating. This could be praying. This could be picking up a new activity or a new hobby or a new skill. This could be simply just organizing your house or cleaning stuff up, whatever it might be. Any of these things, replace those bad, quick, high reward dopamine things with these low, more longer, fulfilling ones during this time. The next thing is to then literally like keep it boring on purpose. The point is to let your brain stop craving these constant spikes of dopamine through the scrolling, the porn, whatever it might be, so that it can then appreciate the more rewardful, more meaningful, smaller ones that come from these things are going to actually help you build the life that you want to live. So that way, when you go to focus on your business or making content or launching that business, it's not going to feel as boring and dull as scrolling on Instagram or binge watching your TV show. You're going to have more fun with it. So if you're sticking with me to reinvent yourself, number one, we're going to rewire our brain, our subconscious mind. Number two, we're doing a dopamine detox, which is going to help that happen. Three is going to be getting into a daily routine. Understand this. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And if you don't sacrifice for what you want will always become the sacrifice. I don't care what your daily routine is going to look like. You just have to stick to it. This was one of the biggest game changers that happened for me in my life. When I started social media, it was November 2019. I was making no money, I had like $3,000 to my name. And then when I started doing social media, I had a big whiteboard I went to Staples to go buy. And I cut it in half. And on the left side, I had daily goals. And on the right side, I had my long-term vision goals. And I would write out exactly what that life looked like, what it felt like. Like I had sponsorship goals, I had money goals, I had follower count goals, all these things. And then I stopped ever looking at it because I wrote on the short-term daily goal side, what could my routine look like? What could I do in this next 24 hours? What could I do today in a checklist sort of fashion that if I do it every single day, in theory, should get me closer to these long-term goals, right? So I had the clear goal. I kind of really thought about a plan that could maybe potentially get me there as long as I focused on these daily things over time, getting 1% better every single day at these things. In theory, I don't know if it's gonna take me 1 year or 10 years, in theory will get me to these long-term goals. And I would not let myself go to sleep until I checked off every single short-term goal on that list. I wanna give you some reassurance. There's gonna be times where you might have a little relapse, you might mess up, or maybe you have a few days where you weren't able to check off all goals. Don't let that make you go back to that shitty life that you were living. Just pick it up the next day and get right back to it. The same concept with like quitting pornography. There's gonna be times where you have relapses, whatever. Don't let the devil convince you that you're not good enough, whatever. It's the same concept. Go right back into it the next day, start off again strong, get all those daily goals checked, and don't even worry about the long-term ones. A lot of us tend to get analysis paralysis. We end up seeing all these other people who are more successful than us at a younger age, or we start thinking about how close are we getting to these longer-term goals, and we end up rethinking our own strategy, or we end up just getting too overwhelmed where we end up giving up. So don't worry about the long-term stuff of where you want to be in life. Remind yourself every single morning and every single night of what that looks like, what it tastes like, what it looks like, what it smells like, what that life looks like. But the actual numbers, like the numbers per month, whatever, don't worry about those yet, right? Focus on day-to-day, what do I have to do every single day that in theory will get me closer to these long-term goals. If you don't know how to go about setting up a good daily routine, honestly, it can be as simple as just waking up earlier. It can be adding in 30 minutes of reading a book. It could be going to the gym. It could be spending 30 minutes learning a new skill, whatever it might be, or studying someone or listening to a podcast, whatever it might be that are going to be these more low dopamine, but higher rewarding, fulfilling activities that I mentioned in the dopamine detox. One of the last things that I want to mention is reading. Again, I know this is going to be difficult for a lot of you guys because your attention spans suck, and so do mine. I get it. Reading is not fun, and it's because we're so used to these high dopamine activities, but it is so important to learn from those who are already doing better than you. And the best way to do that is through books. And if you don't like reading, you can do podcasts or you can do audiobooks. My personal favorite books, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil, Psychology of Money, Millionaire Master Plan, Atomic Habits, all these books. Listen to the audio version while you're going on a walk. Try and just do 30 minutes a day. I promise you over time, you'll learn more and more from it. But this is the issue. 10% is the actual reading or listening to the book. 90% of it is actually putting into actionable steps and putting it into action is what a lot of people suck at. People can read all the books in the world and don't know how to put it into action. That's going to come through discipline and by rewiring your brain. So if you stay this long, again, first up, we're going to rewire our subconscious mind. We're going to rewire our brain. We're going to think positive as if our goal that we have has already happened. 2 is the dopamine detox. You need to reset your system to appreciate doing the actual work that it takes to get to your long-term goals. And 3, it's going to be having a daily routine that you stick to and don't let yourself go to sleep until you check off that entire box. This shit is not supposed to be easy. Okay, it's not. Our flesh is weak. We like doing shit that's easy. As human beings, this is how we are. But if you want different, you have to change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. I can't keep saying that enough because it's so true. And if you want to actually live a life you want to live, stop thinking that someone just got lucky or someone is just on steroids or someone just has daddy's money, and think about what can I learn from this person? Flip the script, have a different perspective, think positive that it's already going to be done and it can happen for you, because half the battle, again, is believing that it can happen. If you think that there's doubt that this can't happen, then it's not going to happen. You have to convince your subconscious mind that it's going to happen, and it can happen for anyone. If it can happen for me, it can happen for you. I was just some kid doing a detailing job, $12 an hour when I was 19 years old. I was struggling with anxiety and depression. I just started finding God a little bit, and I picked up a phone because I had a goal in mind that I wanted to do. I wanted to follow after the footsteps of people that I looked up to. Callum Von Moger and Bradley Martin, they used to motivate me. So for me, I kind of wanted to be just like them. If you don't know what you want to do in life, find out exactly what you're passionate about. What can I do nonstop that I don't even care if it works? It's just fun to do, and focus on getting 1% better at that. For me, it was content creation, trying to become a fitness influencer, watching Callum, watching Bradley. I was like, I want to live the life that they live. So I just focused on making content, and that's how mine started. Now, all this doesn't happen right away, right? You don't have to have the whole plan. For me, I had no idea that I was going to end up starting a clothing brand one day that made over 7 figures. I didn't know I was going to start a mentoring business that made over 7 figures. I didn't know I was going to start social media that was making me over 7 figures a year. I didn't know any of that stuff in the beginning. All I knew was my daily routine, and I did it every single day. And somehow along the way, through the whole concept of infinite intelligence and auto-suggestion, opportunities came that I acted positively on, and that's why I'm at where I am today. Also by the glory of God. That's the whole concept of this. I try to make this as short and concise and valuable as possible. Hope you guys appreciated it. If you did, leave a like, comment, and sub. Turn the bell on. We're uploading once a week on this channel, once a week. So make sure you guys come back for the next one or watch some of the other videos if you want to learn more about building your online personal brand, all that good stuff. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, click the link down below. If you want to join the pathway, it's basically my mentoring business where I teach people how to grow on social media, live the life that they want to live, post more, get better posting on content, get the dream sponsorship that you want, whatever it might be. Click the link down below if you want to learn more on that stuff. Yeah, it's all I got for y'all. If you guys want to support, code Alex Bucked Up, Apex Peptides, Young LA. And yeah, until next time, peace out.